are back, and we are talking
Having a good time with our camera guy.
Yes, we are, and we're talking about aging in place, Mike.
Yes, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
And how everybody occasionally has a little touch of dementia, if you will, or can't remember. And I think that just happens to all of us.
Well, I'm waiting for my first senior moment here during one of these interviews. It'll happen eventually.
They're gifts.
They're definitely gifts.
One of the things I learned a long time ago is even as we age, we may take a few more minutes to process. Okay, but we got it. We still got it going. And when I think about that for lifelong learning and activities and things like that, that's what we were talking about during the break. Some of the things that you may not think about that you all do at the Seabrook and that you do with home health are what I'm calling more than toileting, showering, and food, but just fun, dare I say.
Companionship,
Yeah,
security.
companionship. Talk to us a little bit, Joe, if you will, about the Seabrook and some of the activities you have, and then Heather, if you could, about some of the things that your caregivers would do.
Well, you mentioned lifelong learning, I think, or we have them in the spring and the fall. So the lecture series is open to the residents if they want to participate, which is a nice thing.
I love that.
And then, of course, Trivial Pursuit's kind of fun. They do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Do they really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not so good.
Yeah, they set up teams of 2 people each, and the winner gets a couple of candy bars or something like that. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But you know, between the movie on Sunday night and
there's movie on Sunday nights.
Movie on Sunday night.
Now, just there's someone who chooses the movies. Are they current
We've got a
movies?
whole they're some somewhat current, some longtime classics.
Okay.
You know,
Well
and
said.
so that is well attended. Bingos every other Wednesday evening, and they'll do things off-site too. As far as the lunch bunch, we'll go out to a special restaurant that maybe folks haven't been to in a long time.
A couple of folks that I know at the Seabrook are pretty good at their bridge games. Like, I wouldn't want to mess with them.
Oh, really?
Oh,
So
yeah.
No,
bridge over there,
bridge
too.
is obviously really should be at the top. Because so many people not only play bridge at the Seabrook about 4 days out of the week, but you also have them going to Port Royal
Bridge
and
Center.
doing there's
Traveling
some,
bridge.
some real serious players and a lot of what do they call them? Just fun players.
Yeah.
They
fun players or master players?
No, the more on the lower end. They're just party players, I guess.
Party players of bridge.
But if I have somebody coming in looking at the Seabrook and they say, well, I play a lot of, it's usually the wife though.
Yeah.
Usually the wife plays bridge. I said, well, you're a bridge player? Oh, yeah, I really like to play. And so I said, we're going to have plenty of opportunities for you to enjoy that.
Is that pretty important to people, kind of wanting to know the amenities and what they can do?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's going to be a combination of what they're doing on the island from an activity standpoint and what they're going to kind of be doing at home. And again, we get back to the socialization and getting to know your neighbors. And they do that through the activities that we have. And happy hour will always be the most, attended on Mondays and Friday nights.
And we're talking about doing activities inside, but I think one of the things about the Seabrook that I love is when you walk from your home into the main area, from a biophilia or an outdoor nature point of view, it's absolutely
gorgeous.
It's the low country. I mean, it smells like the low country. It feels like
big
it. It's
trees,
just,
big, mature,
and a lot of shade. I mean, I would think that would be a real selling point.
Well, actually, the landscaping of the Seabrook was not all that great for a long time, but in the last 18 months we've changed it, and now it's as nice as anything on the island.
I think you and I need to take a road trip. I haven't seen it.
Free lunch.
Free lunch.
Hey,
free lunch.
We talked about that. Yes. Or maybe we could do dinner.
I like that dinner with
I was thinking the same.
little bridge afterwards.
Okay, free dinner.
I love it.
Well, Joe, that's a great point. Now, you may have mentioned this. So do you have like an activities director? So they plan all of this.
Yes.
That's their job, right?
I mean, the Fraser Health Center has an activities director.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they even have their own set of activities that, of course, are very much scaled down based on your clientele. So, but it's
a lot of fitness stuff.
Yeah. So, Yeah, because we have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we've got the exercise class. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, they'll be in the water.
Is there a pool?
Yes, yeah. But that won't be probably till middle of May.
Okay.
Get closer into the summer months.
So from a home health point of view and activities, just sort of pulling it together, just to talk about different ways to age, if you will, in the right place. What are some of the things that you all do?
That's a great question. When we are setting up our plan of care, as we call it, we like to engage the resident, the client, as to what they like to do. And a lot of times they are very open to trying new things. And so when we get that match, when the caregiver and the client are together and they love to do things together, they'll do anything. We have caregivers that take their clients to Savannah, and there's a nail place that they like to go. They'll take them to
love that.
Beaufort.
Yes.
They'll go to Harbortown and look at the boats. When we have that connection with the client and the caregiver, the possibilities are endless, and it just raises their quality of life so much, because even though they live alone and they are just one person, and they're kind of afraid to join a group or do things by themselves, but if they have that caregiver with them, they can do just about anything and go anywhere, and we encourage that.
Is quality of life something that's really paramount to what you both do?
Oh, gosh,
question.
yes, absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about that, because I think that's one of the big fears.
And Heather touched on it, just the isolation a lot of people have, and then the developing of depression, and the small things that Heather's talking about. I've called Heather on the phone before, and she's been in a pool swimming with a client. So we all do what we can just to get them out of the house sometimes and to do things. And once you get them past that barrier, I think Heather can tell you, they really start to enjoy it, and you can see the change in them. You really can, and their families will comment. They can see the change.
Are most people pretty open and accepting of, sometimes radical acceptance? It is what it is.
Yeah.
You are where you are. And that just is.
Well, I think you all touched on it in an earlier segment. When the children are pushing care,
Right.
it's much more
Challenging.
Much more challenging. But when the resident or the client is saying, "I need something more," 100% it's going to work better, and it's going to be easier to do, because they're already mentally prepared and ready that somebody else needs to help me so that I can live my best life.
Is part of the goal for both of you to allow folks to do the best they can do on their own? In other words, I'm a rescuer or a fixer, sort of. Do you know what I'm saying?
You are, yeah.
Right? And so I think the hardest thing would be not to try to fix or rescue, or to let them be them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, when you have people coming from the island and they already have friends that live at the Seabrook, it's very easy.
Sure.
If you have someone coming from Timbuk3, but it really doesn't matter, because our people are going to, unless someone just completely wants to be a hermit.
Okay.
Of course, we don't want that to
Sure.
happen. But the idea is that they're going to do their best to have this new individual become socially involved with what goes on at the Seabrook, because
part of the community.
Yep, and you're just gonna meet more people, and you're gonna find out how many that you really do have a lot in common with.
And how about from your point of view, from a home health?
It's always a challenge, but the more that we can engage the client, the better their life is going to be. And so, whether it's taking them to the beach or taking them to a movie, because a lot of times they don't want to go by themselves, or they're embarrassed to say to their next door neighbor,
I'm going to a movie by myself. I don't really have anybody to go with.
Right.
Well, it makes me think, tell us a little bit, Heather, too, because I know you deal with clients that you're just caring for a couple hours a day to about 24 hours a day. And I know that's a big change in the plan of care.
It is. We pride ourselves in that we are, I don't know, maybe I can say this, the experts in our field.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Thank you for taking care of someone that needs 24-hour care, because we can take a look at the whole picture and the whole being, if you will. And that includes all of the things that we've talked about, the basic bathing, eating, but then we have the socialization, and then we also have, the nighttime care where people don't want to be alone. They don't want to stay home alone. And so we can take care of all of that.
So when you do a 24-hour-a-day thing, is that one person? Do you have
No.
a couple of shifts?
Multiple
How
people.
does that
shifts.
work?
Yep.
Okay.
Usually it's 7A to 7P and 7P to 7A.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to be very conscientious of our time because I know we've
Yes.
only got about
We
30
also-
seconds. It's so much fun to talk, and every time we talk, we could go on and on and on. It really
We
is
sure
interesting.
could.
That is time. I'm sorry.
could.
I know.
No, it's
Joe, thank
interesting.
you so much for joining
You're
us
welcome.
again
Thank
today.
you.
Heather,
It's always
great to
great.
see you again.
Thank you.
Wonderful to see you again.
It's good to
I
see
know.
you.
We're back together again.
Woo!
That's great.
The team.
Please take a moment, if you will, email us any comments, questions you have for us here on the show. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here on the Senior Network, where senior care experts come together. We'll see you the next time.